The glass elevator climbed silently toward the 42nd floor, carrying 10-year-old Marcus Washington and his father's worn cleaning cart. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of small moments to change lives, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness True Stories. Also, tell us in the comments, where in the world are you watching from? His small hands gripped the handle tightly, knuckles pale against his brown skin. The city lights sprawled below like scattered diamonds. But Marcus couldn't enjoy the view, his stomach twisted with worry, not about the late hour or the towering building, but about his father lying in their small apartment burning with fever. Marcus had never been to Thompson Industries before. His father, Robert Washington, had worked here for 3 years, arriving after everyone left and departing before anyone arrived. He was invisible by design, the way janitors often are in places like this. But tonight, Robert couldn't even stand without the room spinning. When Marcus found him collapsed on the bathroom floor that evening, his father's first words weren't about a doctor or rest. They were about the CEO's office on the 42nd floor that needed cleaning before morning. "Mr. Thompson has an important meeting at 7, Robert had whispered through cracked lips. "The Japanese investors. Everything has to be perfect." Marcus had promised to call his father's supervisor, but Robert grabbed his wrist with surprising strength. "They'll fire me, son. I've already missed 2 days this month when your sister was sick. We can't afford for me to lose this job." So Marcus had made a different promise. He would go himself. Now, standing in the empty corridor outside Eleanor Thompson's office, Marcus felt very small. He pulled out the key card his father had pressed into his palm and swiped it across the reader. The lock clicked open. The office was enormous. All glass walls and sleek furniture that probably cost more than his family's annual rent. Marcus pushed the cart inside and began the way. His father had taught him during practice runs in their apartment. Dust first, then vacuum, then mop, always working from the far corner toward the door. He was halfway through vacuuming when the lights suddenly blazed on. Marcus jumped, his heart hammering. A woman stood in the doorway, tall and sharp in a navy suit despite the late hour. Her grey hair was pulled back severely, and her eyes were the color of steel. "What are you doing in my office?" Eleanor Thompson's voice cut through the vacuum's hum. Marcus fumbled for the off switch, nearly knocking over the cart. "I asked you a question, young man." I'm cleaning, ma'am," Marcus stammered. "My dad's sick, so I came instead." The words tumbled out in a rush. "He said your office had to be perfect for the morning meeting. The Japanese investors. He said it was really important, and he was too sick to come. And I know how to clean because he taught me. And please don't fire him." "Ma'am, please, we need this job." Eleanor stared at him, her expression unreadable. Marcus felt tears prickling his eyes, but refused to let them fall. His father had always told him that a man stands tall, no matter what. "How old are you?" Eleanor asked finally. 10, ma'am." "Almost 11. And your father sent you here at—" She glanced at her watch. 11:30 at night to clean my office?" "No, ma'am. He didn't want me to come. He wanted to come himself, even though he's really sick. But I was afraid he'd collapse on the subway or something worse. So I took his key card and came instead." "He doesn't even know I'm here." Marcus straightened his shoulders. "I'm a good cleaner, ma'am. I can finish the job right. You won't even know the difference." Something flickered across Eleanor's face, too quick for Marcus to identify. She walked slowly to her desk and sat down, studying him. "What's your name?" "Marcus Washington, ma'am." "My dad is Robert Washington." "Robert Washington," Eleanor repeated softly, as if tasting the name. She opened her computer and typed something. Her eyes scanned the screen, and her expression tightened. "Your father has been cleaning this building for 3 years. Never late, never a complaint. Perfect record until 2 absences this month." She looked up. "Your sister was sick?" "Yes, ma'am. She has asthma. Sometimes it gets really bad." Marcus hesitated. "But she's better now, and Dad will be better soon, too." "This won't happen again." Eleanor stood and walked to the window, her back to Marcus. The silence stretched so long that Marcus thought she might be calling security. Instead, she spoke, her voice quieter than before. "My father was a janitor. Did you know that, Marcus?" Marcus shook his head. then realized she couldn't see him. "No, ma'am. He worked in a hospital. Night shift, just like your father. Every evening, he'd come home smelling like disinfectant and floor wax. And every evening, my mother would tell him he should want more, be more. But he'd just smile and say honest work was nothing to be ashamed of." Eleanor turned around, and Marcus was startled to see her eyes glistening. "He put me through college cleaning those hospital floors. Worked double shifts when my mother got cancer. He died the week after I graduated with my MBA. Heart attack, 52 years old. And he'd worn himself out making sure I had opportunities he never did." She walked toward Marcus, and he instinctively stepped back. But Eleanor simply knelt down, bringing herself to his eye level. "Do you know what he told me the last time I saw him?" Marcus shook his head. He said, "Ellie, don't ever forget where you came from. Don't ever look down on people who do the work that needs doing. We're all just trying to take care of the people we love." Eleanor's voice cracked slightly. "I built this company from nothing. Worked 80-hour weeks, made sacrifices, clawed my way to the top. And somewhere along the way, I forgot his words. I forgot that the people cleaning my office, securing my building, serving my lunch, they all have lives, families, dreams. They're not invisible. They're not disposable." She stood and walked back to her desk, picking up her phone. Marcus's heart sank. This was it. She was calling security. But instead, Eleanor dialed a different number. "Dr. Patel?" "Yes, it's Eleanor Thompson. I apologize for the late hour, but I need a house call. Tonight, please." She gave Marcus's address, which she'd clearly pulled from her computer. "A high fever. Yes, I'll cover all costs. Send the bill to my personal account." "Thank you." Marcus stared at her, unable to process what was happening. Eleanor set down the phone and opened a drawer, pulling out a business card and writing something on the back. "Marcus, you go home right now. A doctor will meet you there to treat your father. Tomorrow morning, I want your father to call this number." She handed him the card. "It's my direct line. I'm creating a new position, facilities director. Better hours, better pay, benefits that include health insurance for his family. If your father wants it, the job is his." "I don't understand," Marcus whispered. "Why are you doing this?" Eleanor smiled, and it transformed her entire face. "Because a little boy taught me something tonight. He reminded me that real strength isn't about corner offices or board meetings. It's about showing up for the people you love, even when you're scared, especially when you're scared." She gestured to the cleaning cart. "Now go home to your father." And Marcus, he turned back at the door. "Thank you for having the courage to do what needed to be done. Your father is a lucky man to have you as his son." Marcus ran. He ran to the elevator, through the lobby, into the night. He ran all the way to the subway station, his father's key card clutched tight in his fist. When he burst through their apartment door, his father was trying to stand, panic written across his face. "Marcus, where have you been? I woke up and you were gone." "It's okay, Dad. Everything's okay." Marcus hugged his father tight. "Help is coming. Everything's going to be okay." 6 months later, Robert Washington stood in his new office on the 20th floor, reviewing maintenance schedules with his assistant. Through the glass wall, he could see his son in the lobby, doing homework on a bench while waiting for him to finish work. The evening shift was done. Now Robert worked days, came home for dinner, helped with homework, and tucked his children into bed. He had health insurance. He had paid sick leave. He had dignity. And every week, he had lunch with Eleanor Thompson in the executive cafeteria, where she'd insisted he call her. Ellie, and where they'd talk about their families, their dreams, their memories of people who'd worked hard to give them better lives. Sometimes the smallest acts of courage create the biggest ripples. Sometimes a child's love can open eyes that success had closed. And sometimes, when we remember where we came from, we find our way to where we're meant to be. The measure of a person isn't in their title or their salary. It's in how they treat those who can do nothing for them. It's in the sacrifices they make for the people they love. And it's in their willingness to see the humanity in everyone they meet, whether that person is wearing a suit or carrying a mop. Marcus taught Eleanor that lesson. Robert lived it every day. And together, they proved that kindness, dignity, and second chances can transform lives in ways that money never could. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Kindness True Stories. Every subscription helps us spread more messages of hope, compassion, and the extraordinary power of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Together, we can remind the world that kindness still matters, and that every person has a story worth hearing. Subscribe to Kindness True Stories today and be part of a community that believes in the goodness of humanity.